Hello, my name is David. Today we're going to take a look at Celonis's Intelligent Business Cloud. And the context for today's use case is taking the data from a life insurance application, an underwriting process, ingesting this into the Intelligent Business Cloud, and in a time span of about a day and a half, being able to demonstrate not only the visualization of what the process entails, but the analytics around the visualization and where our customers find the aha moments hidden in the data around their process. What you're looking at here is our Variant Explorer, and this is a common place where our customers start in their first visualization discovery. What you're looking at here down the center path is what we like to call the happy path, and it is the most common pathway of which all of the applications and underwriting process take. If you zoom in, you have the ability to look at a step-by-step iteration of the application as it goes through to the underwriters. Either requires additional information, such as medical results, all the way down to issuing a policy and a bill being sent. Now, the interesting thing about this happy path here is that it is only 38% of all the cases that are loaded up in the use case here. And so one of the powerful aspects of Celonis is to be able to expand upon this and say, all right, show me what the top 4 paths of our life insurance application underwriting process is. And what you can begin to see is where the deviations take place here in these paths. You can start to see where the applications or additional information is being required, where time is actually being consumed. Oftentimes, when you look and see where the bottlenecks and the delays are, you can look at it from particular hours, days, minutes. We also have the ability to look at the case frequency and see that about 5,500 cases out of the 30,000 here are requiring additional information. So this might actually be an area where automation or the completeness of an electronic application could be checked, thus reducing the additional time taken out of this, this particular process. So as you look through here, one has the ability to start to see the various paths that these applications are taking. If we zoom out and take a look at what the entire 158 ways in which an application process can go, one begins to see that this complexity is something that is often missed during the whiteboarding design sessions. And this is actually very fact-driven versus the story or the experience-driven collection of information that happens from those involved in the process. This gives a 100% transparency as to what's happening in the system. And one of the powerful things that we like to be able to demonstrate in looking at this is breathing life into the data. So what I'm going to do here is take about a year's worth of data. This is data that we've loaded from the data warehouse. It doesn't have all the information that we would like in here, which would come from the source system. But this was a very good use case, and we pulled the information in immediately. And in about a day and a half, we have this up and running to be able to demonstrate this. So what you're seeing here at the top with the bursting of the animation is a brand new day every time it bursts up here. And you start to see where the process timeline is taking place and where possible bottlenecks are occurring in this process overall. This not only gives you areas in which you can focus on, but gives you some starting points to ask what is happening here in these particular steps versus the typical, so tell me what you know about the process. It's a very laser-focused point in which you can get to the bottom of some of the issues, the bottlenecks, and work on improving that digital process for your customer and for your internal operations. So let's move on here quickly and take a look at the overall process overview. What the analytics give you the capability to do as well, depending on what data we have available, we were able to quickly identify where manual applications were taking place. And so we can quickly filter on those and see which what the process is for which applications, in this case manual, and see what is happening. What are the performance metrics that are tied to this in terms of processing? What agency in terms of who is involved with it, and what was the throughput time, as well as the completion rate. Not every application in this case is completed. It is either dropped out by the customer or it is not approved for the policy that it's being requested. Additionally, we can also look at some of the automation pieces where the internet application is being involved and still see that there's quite a bit of deviation in terms of the process and the things that are happening as this moves through the system. We have the ability to look at cycle times and understand from one activity to another what are those cycle times. So you have the ability to select the various process steps in here along the way and measure what those cycle times are, as well as, again, seeing what the application counts are, what the overall cycle time is, and what the completion rate is. One of the powerful pieces is our ability to drive a stake in the ground and to be able to say, we have a gold standard for this process, and it is defined either in this application here, or we can load up from a BPM business process planning system what that overall design model should look like. And then through that, with our ability to load data, typically on a daily basis, we can begin to track the conformance across the timeline here, understand where some of the violations are taking place, and in fact, drill into those violations. In this case, you see 20% of the violations are taking place with additional information being requested. This is probably an opportunity in which we can look at the information, the checks, any of the automation that's brought to an internet application, or a process improvement if a manual application is still being used. What it allows us to do is to drill in and say, what are the root causes? Oftentimes, we're inundated with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of rows of data. And what the machine learning and the AI part of Celonis does is accelerate this for our customers, where they can actually drill in and find any of these pieces in here where these type of violations are taking place, what type of policies they are they coming both from corporate or from the internet pieces? And then from that, we are able to drill in to these pieces and actually view the cases specifically where they're happening. And we can either do that through the tabs that you see along the bottom, selecting into any one of these, or through a combination of the filtering that you've already previously seen. Additionally, when we talk about performance, it's as much about the system and the automation as it is about the people. So one of the benefits that we have with our analytics here is the ability to be able to dive in to what is happening with the events. So here we're going to take a look at, these are the people who are involved in the underwriting and the application process. And you can see here from the events who is handling more and who is handling less. This could be articulated through various roles. We also have the ability to look at the throughput time to see who's processing more and who's processing less. So the power of the analytics, understanding the story that wraps around the process, gives us that full transparency where we can dive in, actually get into the analytics, see the details of the data that we're working on, and bring kind of the full circle back to the overall process in looking at this. When one looks at the overall process and able to boil down where these type of bottlenecks are occurring, it really lends itself to understanding the specific questions that need to be asked, understanding any strategic initiatives that you're taking around your digital strategy, and also brings to the forefront the kind of changes which are as much system as they are organizational. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. We wanted to be able to quickly demonstrate how fast we were able to bring this to a visualization, to be able to create this use case demo, and to show you the power of the Intelligent Business Cloud. We hope this was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, please visit us at celonis.com. Thanks again.